Hi, welcome to another episode of Build with Raymond. And in this episode, I'm just going to talk briefly about how I think about bootstrapping versus raising money, and at the end of the day, why I choose to invest my time in Wisp itself. Right for now, right? So a little while back, I actually gave the thought of like raising external capital a little bit of thought. Just thinking about should I do that or not, right? Since I've been bootstrapping with for quite a while now, about 9 months, right? And one of the program that I heard about, out there is this iterative program. It's running in Singapore, and I've heard great reviews from it from at least two, three different founders itself, right? The experience was great, and the support of having a peer community is even better, right? And that led me to think about what if like there is a community of founders that that can support one another, and at the same time also raise VC money, right, for the purpose of growing Wisp, right? So that led me down the thought of like, hey, why did I invest time in Wisp, right? So and in this short video, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share with you very openly the exact pitch that I'm using for iterative, right? So a little bit of progress update. I already have the first call with one of the principal called Kathy, and it was a great call. And since then I've moved on to the final round and actually had a call with Shiken already. So I'm actually waiting for them to actually ponder upon this and let me know if I'm getting in or not, right? But either way, what I'm going to do here is to just talk about why I choose to invest my time in Wisp, right? And how I think about this market opportunity out there. And at the same time, you can think about like how you think about your market opportunities. So over here, this is where I like to set with the narrative in, right? It is actually a content management tool for post AI era websites. And the problem that I'm really trying to solve is it is hard to publish content on some sites built on the modern web framework. Think React, Next.js, Vue, Nux, all of these things. And in very early stage startups and publications, the marketer are often bottlenecked by developers in this space. And that means that they have to wait for developer to push code for them to be able to update certain parts of the website. And this is further exacerbated with the explosion of custom websites or using modern web frameworks due to AI adoption. I'm going to show you some interesting graph later. And the space that I'm in is actually is almost as old as time, right? And there are just so many players out there. A joke that I like to make is that I can't just name you three competitors. I can name you probably like 30 to 50 of them. And this is pretty much the landscape in the content management space, right? Our largest player, Contentful, is roughly owning about less than 0.5% of the market, and yet it has over coming close to $200 million in annual recurring revenue, right? Then another two examples would be Sanity and Strappy with less than 0.2% of the market with 10 to 30 million dollars of revenue, right? And to just show you how fragmented the market is, WordPress pretty much own 30% of the internet, but beyond that you can see that there are other CMSs that are like Contentful that it has the market share of 0.48, right? And it's really small, okay? And you can see there's a whole list of like CMSs that powers the internet, okay? My goal is to be one of these top few ones right here, okay? And let's take a look at right now, right? At this point in time, there's roughly about 50 million live React websites, 1.7 live Next.js websites, and with each month that passes, there's about 40k new websites that's out in the wild. And the growth has been exponential since ChatGPT release. To give you an idea about that, let's take a look at Next.js. There you go. So you can see it's growing a lot, and take a look at this line, right? It's just exploding. When we are talking about the rest of the internet, simply because for one, I think BuildWith actually started indexing a lot more websites, and for two, right, the rise of tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and all of that actually gave rise to a lot of small time startups and entrepreneurs and business owner wannabes who wants to create something out there. And even for the, let's say, a mid-career transit marketeer, or someone who's in finance, will be able to deploy a Next.js website or React website really quickly, simply because they have like ChatGPT with them, right? And that's the opportunity that I see right there over here. And my solution over here is Wisp, right? Wisp in its current form is a headless CMS that's tailored for Next.js, and also some other frameworks like React, Vue, and all of that. The goal is to make it really easy to set up for developers. My goal is to make it 4 hours or less, right? And I want to make it intuitive for content contributors, because I've used something like Medium before. It was delightful for me to use it. I've used WordPress. I do not find that useful or amazing at all, right? And I wanted something that is easier to use like Medium or Notion, and less like WordPress. Of course, there are some other things like AI features and CDNs, right? And something that I share with them was the stats to kind of like benchmark how we are growing, right? So within, I think, 2 weeks, I spoke with them. The first call with Kathy on the 16th September, and the second one on the 1st October. What happened since is that I've got 95 new users, 20 new live sites, 2 more existing paying customers, and from there I'm also starting 3 different growth experiments to do outbound and do outreach to get Wisp in front of more people. So the team and leadership's basically me. You can see on the about side, so there's nothing new here. And that's pretty much it. But I'm going to go further and show you some other things that I've kind of like prepped together for this call, right? So some things that I think about, like how I win within this like very fragmented market, is that the first thing is to actually focus on developer experience. I'm a developer myself, and I think that there's going to be more the developers themselves are going to be the ones choosing the tech rather than the CEOs, right? And I want to be the #1 recommended CMS by these developers. The next one is actually to it's a fork in the road, right? The first one is actually to be the best publishing software out there with superior publishing experience, and eventually also think about things like DXP, digital experience platforms, right? Another path going down is also something like Substack, where what I'm seeing right now is that there's a crossover of like bloggers that talk about similar things, and I can probably get them to either serve ads or either monetize their websites by recommending each other's channel. So something like what Substack is doing, right, and enabling consumers to be creators. So this doesn't even need to be the business owners, but they can be like bloggers or people who want to start their own channels and online presence. And these are some of the main growth blocker for me right now. Figuring out what's the best channel to grow with and get in front of more customers. The next one is engineering speed. That's literally just me, and also another guy who helps me from time to time to put up some code. And finally, there's also something that's not so tangible, which is environmental, where I'm pretty much building this by myself, and without any other founder community of sorts. Learning Loop right now is the best that I've got so far, and it's been amazing. But I'm just thinking like how do I immerse myself in such a space that will actually push me to grow more, and find and actually find support with one another as well. So when I think about the program, like what do I want to achieve within the program itself, the main thing is to actually find one growth lever that has a positive ROI, that actually can show me a route to 30K monthly recurring revenue or more, right? And the other one is more as a testament to like the quality of work done at Wisp, is to actually have one organic word of mouth recommendation on platforms like Reddit, right? For just anything, like whether it's a blog template tool or CMS itself, right? To show that people are actually recommending and promoting Wisp, beyond just like my own organic channels itself. Something to think about if I actually go down the VC route and accept a first check is also to think about when is the next round, when is a good time to actually grow further, right? One thing, the most important thing is that the product must be appealing. Of course, it is pretty much a gut feeling, right? I shouldn't be selling it too hard, right? One way to tell whether a product is appealing is that do I actually have to sell it very hard, right? If it's not, if I find it easier to sell, that means there's something appealing. I'm nailing some messaging right. I'm nailing some pain point really right. The next thing is also being default alive. This is there's actually this default alive Paul Graham, right? Read this post. It gives you a very good idea of why this is important for me, right? Being default alive means that I can continue to service all my customers. I can be sustainable. I don't have to chase growth because I have to, or raise more money, right? And existing customers can be sure that they are on a platform that is truly sustainable. The next thing is to have 2 or more growth levers. Here's one that I want to crack in the next couple of months, and having 2 or more and seeing a path to 100K in money recurring revenue would give me quite a bit of confidence and traction to actually raise the next round. Finally, in terms of pricing, after if I do pre-seed now, and seed will definitely look like more upward of 10 million in valuation with less than 15% in dilution, right? So these are what I want to be able to achieve before raising the next round from here, right? So let's take a look at maybe, snippets from the biz. So to show you from the back office what are some of the stats here, and caveat, it's not sexy, but lines are going up, which is good. Let's see where that goes, right? First up, the Stripe revenue, it's going up. We are seeing about like $700 so far since we turned on pricing, right? And we are getting quite a bit of testimonial. So I have people telling me it's the easiest CMS that I've ever handled, and love how I didn't need to spend 2 hours setting everything up and another 4 integrating it. Right? I couldn't believe that JavaScript SDK was that simple. Next one is a friend of mine, Wisp, my previous co-founder, and they basically implemented it in Wisp, in Peak, and less painful than other solutions out there. Another one is Sinner. He's a paying customer and he's using it for his blog over at Learning Loop as well. Another one, also a personal friend, she got it up and got it working. Funny thing about Mulongo was that she has always been struggling with developers getting it started, and this time around she just wanted a simple blog for one of her projects. So and she saw Wiz and wanted to get started with it. So and this video on like the developer experience, you can go through it yourself. And over here it's showing you like the kind of like daily sign up since you can see this is obviously product hunt, and then after that you can start to see the lines being a little bit more thick and not sparse like early on, right? In terms of blog posts, same thing, we are seeing a little bit more dense blog posts being added to the platform. And in terms of weekly active users, we are growing slightly along this line over here. This is a new bar, so I wouldn't count on that. Source of users, it's been interesting. We've been getting some from organic search. We've been getting some from some of our templates. Even YouTube is bringing some new users for us. and people are searching in from various different places. Something to take note is that this is also interesting because for for websites that are running the free version of Wisp, they actually have an attribution link at the bottom of the blog post. And if someone were to sign up after clicking on the attribution link, this would be them. So based on this, I can start to see like, hey, my attribution link is also drawing me a little bit more traffic already. So something about organic SEO growth, you can see we started off somewhere April with very much a 0 domain rating, and right now we are at 54. It's a pretty decent number to be at. I didn't show you traffic, but that's something that is going up, and I would like to do better as well. New experiments I'm trying, so you can see this YouTube channel basically built with Fragment, as well as some of other content that I have over here, including a podcast is also getting more traffic and view, and some of them are converting into like customers over here at Wisp itself, right? And finally, I'm starting to keep track of some of my growth experiments to see what are working, what are not, and how much I'm gonna spend on each of them, right? And yeah, that's pretty it. The last part is how I think about growth and learning over here at Wisp. I talk a lot about growth is very important for a startup and also for employees in a startup, and I want to show how we embrace it. So every 2 weeks we run a sprint. I think this is not new, and every sprint we will actually show key numbers, and we actually talk about lessons learned and what are some of the things that we want to try next. Okay, so that's also how we keep track of like how we grow week on week as well. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the video. Just wanted to show you people why I care to spend time building Wisp out, and where are some of the amazing things that what are some of the amazing things that I'm going to focus more and do more of soon. Also a small shout out for Wisp. Recently just added a very new feature, which is one of the first out there. It's called the React custom React component that basically allow you to insert things like, let's say, a FAQ or a comparison table that is using your front end code to render, instead of like it being weaved into your blog post itself. So this is something that is exciting, and this is the first video that I talk about this. I'm actually going to create another one later on to show you how I can actually implement it on the front end. Alright, it's been close to 20 minutes. Good to see you around here. See you in the next Build with Raymond video.